Welcome to this video on the history of healing touch and energy medicine in Peru. This is Dr. Mary Jo Bulbrook, and this video is being filmed in my headquarters, Energy Medicine Partnerships headquarters in Durham, North Carolina. And this short film is being made at the request of my Peruvian colleagues to capture the history of bringing healing touch and energy medicine to Peru. So I'd like to thank you for coming to see this short presentation on this work. And I'd like to begin with in giving honor to Sister Barbara Cavanaugh, who is a religious Catholic sister with Mercy Sisters, who are headquarters, I believe their home base is in San Francisco. But Barbara had been a missionary in Peru for over 30 years, and I met her in 1999, and she shared that what she had learned in Healing Touch in the United States from Janet Mencken, the founder of Healing Touch, she had taken to Peru to share with the poor that she served in her community. So she had been doing it for, I think, about a year before I met her. And when I found out what her goal was to help spread it to as many people as she could, I said I would be willing to help her. So from that original contact of my meeting Sister Barbara in United States, I offered to travel to Peru with her to bring the official training program of Healing Touch there, which I did in 1999. So this film represents showing you some of the original footage in picture forms. We'll be interspersing them later on of my work there with Sister Barbara. The filming took place at Stella Mora's Hospital in Lima, Peru. There were about 100 people present for the first presentation. A lot of them were religious, both priests and sisters, and they worked in the hospitals or they served the poor in the community. And from that base, we weren't used to teaching the work with such a large group and without massage tables to place students on, but we manage. In some of the pictures you'll see, people are lying on the floor, we're doing the work, or on chairs together. And this was done just because to help the person to be comfortable. But Healing Touch can be given to a person sitting in a chair, in a hospital bed, at home if you're treating them at home, or in a chair. It can be done at any place and any time. And serving the poor was an important mission for the sisters who worked there. And one of my other colleagues who I met throughout my journey in Peru said that when she first came as a missionary to Peru, this is Sister Marg Kehoe, she is from Australia, that when she first worked with the people, she said, we just brought our gift of love and caring, and they didn't have any concrete tools, although that's a very concrete tool, sharing love. And but learning to do Healing Touch and giving them additional tools on how they can make the difference in their personal life using the gifts of energy healing and energy therapies. And this is what was done. And it was so remarkable to me over the years that I traveled there to see the difference that occurred. And within a short period of time, over 1,200 people were served. And this is with the poorest of the poor and reaching an informal network. You know, we didn't have the internet the way that we did, and we didn't have resources, and use of technology was very limited. It was direct one-on-one care and gathering people together at whatever situation it was. And soon after, the sisters, I really am very pleased, they brought their colleagues together, and many of them became teachers. The first, there were 5 instructors who were carrying on that I taught and prepared to teach Healing Touch. And we had to create an organization together to identify how to do it, get books printed, get the resources, advertise the work, etc. And it took a team of people. And now that was started in, like I said, 2000. It is now 2017, and I'm very pleased with the progress that has been made. And some of the stories that capture my heart were one of the very poor community centers that I went into. The only thing that was in this room was a table and chairs and charts from my teaching materials. And for me, it was like, wow, this is really cool. You know, they didn't have the sophistication that we have in some of our clinics. Well, in most of our clinics, they had very limited things available to the people. This was one of the public health centers in a poor section of town. And to see the pictures from my training materials there, it was very, very inspiring. And that kept me going on. And my goal was to, how can I share what I know and what I have been taught with others so that they can share with their families and communities. And I'm going to be showing probably a series of slides and pictures will intersperse in this film so that you can see what the land is like and the people that we serve. In the large community, like I'll be showing some pictures at Stella Maris Hospital. And I also want to thank Donna Duff, who traveled with me from the United States, and the two of us were the primary teachers for the original classes that were taught there. And neither one of us spoke Spanish, so you can imagine that created an additional hardship on how to have the work translated, including the teaching materials, and find a system to carry the work forward. But it's like it had a life of its own. And the people resonated to the work very clearly, very rapidly, and what they would learn to do, they shared with others. And this is how it grew and spread in the communities. It was from a person-to-person way on how it began to make its way. And the sisters today, through the organization that's now called PROSH, and I want to give recognition to Carol Reamer, who I used to stay with when I first went to Peru, and she helped organize a lot of the activities. She has now moved back to the United States, but she was kind of the go-between for me in the early days with the communities and helping to set all this up, because like I said, it's a team who helps makes this happen. And currently Sonia Ventura is working with Gabby through Ser Mystico outside Lima, and they are helping to coordinate my activities as I return to Peru and continue the teaching. Nita Alvarez, who is a Peruvian, is currently teaching both Healing Touch and Energy Medicine there from the original foundation that I laid, and I really want to thank her. So for a while, I stopped going back to Peru because we had a foundation of people who were teaching it there. And in 2013, I was invited to come back. PROSH had their first actually international conference and brought people from many different places who were interested in it. We had 150 people who came to that conference, and it opened my heart again to the Peruvian people and shared how exciting it was to work with my friends and who had become family as well, and see how far the work had grown. And I'd like to comment on a project that started in outside Lima in one of the communities by Centro Nana Nagli. And Marquijo, who one of the sisters was very much interested in starting a program with children. And so she gathered the children in her community and brought them together. And she called it energy medicine, self-care, while I called it kids helping kids. And the children, you know, we didn't segregate them. You know, we didn't put them into these are teenagers, these are young children. We just had a kids helping kids program. And so any age could come. And sometimes the older kids would be our support and help take care of the younger kids. And it really became a very important community effort to meet the need. In the early days, that's what they did, is they gathered the kids together and would teach them healing touch. Not a full program at one time, because they would usually meet around 2 hours at a time or an hour and a half. And when I went back after they had had 3 sessions with the children, I said to Marg, what would you like for me to teach? And she said, well, let's talk about sadness, helping the kids to deal with being sad in their homes. And I said, well, that sounds like a good topic. So when I went there, that's what was represented. We were going to talk about what it's like being sad in your home. And so the children, many times they came with an adult person in their family or a sibling, and we would have them draw a picture. And the picture, immediately the children knew what to do. And the parents kind of looked around and said, well, what are we supposed to do? And we said, well, follow the children and go over and draw a picture what it's like when you're sad in your family. And what was so interesting to me is that the parents would say things, I didn't realize my child knew what was going on for me. And so each person shared what their picture was, what they drew, and what it meant to them. And then they would come back to the group and we would share it as a group. And from that then stimulus, we would go and we would start talking about how to help each other. And we would do healing touch and energy medicine. And one of the things we would do is, like, if your heart feels heavy or your chest is heavy, just take your hand like you're seeing me do and move the energy away. And this can make it easier for you and help you to feel better. So these are some of the very, very simple things that we do. Or if you have pain in your arm, for example, we would show them, you can start on your shoulder and come down and off at the hand. And this will help take care of any pain or discomfort. And obviously there are more things than what I'm showing here, but you can see how simple they are. And there are times, sometimes you would touch the body. Let's say I had a toothache. You might put your hand on your face and the other hand you put lower, and you're draining the pain off and helping to recover from a toothache. So the work is very simple like that. And again, I want to give recognition to Janet Menken, who is now passed on, and for her contribution for creating Healing Touch. One of the roles that I served in the early days, I actually heard a voice that I was to help Janet do her work, which is how I got very involved in Healing Touch and made a commitment to help spread it to different parts of the world. So not only did I take Healing Touch to Peru, but also to Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and a number of other countries throughout Canada and the US. The sisters have taken the work both to Chile, to Brazil, to Argentina, and we've taught courses in Ireland because some of the sisters were from Ireland and from Spain. And so as you can see, it's like the work was seeded with one person's vision, one person's thought, one person's commitment to serve, and then it passed on to someone else. So this is really how the work grows. It resonates to your heart, and then you're committed to share it with others. So Thank you, and I invite you to check out Healing Touch and Energy Medicine. They're parallel programs. They have some different techniques of how they serve populations, and you may work with what you've learned and adopt it to how it fits for your personal and professional life, and continue to serve others with this magical work of working through the energy system. So thank you for listening and being with us. Bye for now.